What's going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings flying high into the bye at 5-0, and this team has been a lot of fun. And they've won some tough games against some tough opponents thus far. The defense is the best in the National Football League. Big props to Brian Flores. Depth is there. Props to Kwesi. Kevin O'Connell has really grown and shown into his own as a head coach and game manager, and also manager of the locker room as well. And offensively, we've seen flashes that it can be an elite offense. We just need to see more consistency. I think we will after the bye. And long story longer. So it's good to get a little modicum of respect, right? So, but looking at Pro Football Focus's power rankings. So now they're not like your normal power rankings, right? It goes by what this team would be favored by or be an underdog by against a completely average team at a neutral site. That's how their power rankings work. So right now, the Vikings are 6. I understand. I get it, right? But the Vikings would be 2.8 favorites over an average team at a neutral site. I feel like the Vikings just beat an average team at a neutral site. But you got the Bills, the Lions, the Ravens, and the Niners, and the Chiefs ahead of them. Blah, 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 blah. Don't really care, right? Also, they're still giving too much love and respect to the Niners. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Right. Also, they factor in the remaining schedule plus chances to win the Super Bowl, make the playoffs, etc. So the Vikings right now, like we said, would be 2.8 favorites against an average team at a neutral site. Who would be the worst? Panthers 5.4 point dogs. All right. So an average team right now would be the Bengals or would be the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are actually kind of good. Yeah. But also they have the point spread of the quarterback in terms of value added. So Darnold not being there would be 2.5 points. Let's not talk about that. But strength of schedule to date. So 1 is the hardest. That's what she said. The Vikings have played the 4th hardest schedule. You got the Ravens, Cardinals, and the Rams now. This does factor in how teams have been playing this season. But the Vikings have the 4th toughest schedule. Oh, looky. Here comes Sookie. Who has played the easiest schedule? 32nd, the easiest schedule in the league, the Detroit Lions. The 2nd easiest schedule in the league, the crooked Chicago Bears. The 8th easiest schedule in the league, or tied for 8th easiest schedule, the Packers. No big deal. Remaining, so 1 is had. The Lions, probably because they have to play the Vikings twice. That certainly factors in. Same thing with the Bears. They have a muy difícil schedule, and the Packers also have to play the Vikings once. So again, people talk like, all the teams in the NFC or North are ahead or above 500. Yeah, who have they played? No big deal. Average wins in terms of the simulation, Vikings at 12.2. That seems like a couple more than 6.5. Making the playoffs, Vikings are 89%, second in the league, behind only the Chiefs. And really, it's more about the Chiefs having just a cakewalk division. I mean, the Chargers are banged up. The Broncos, no one's writing home about. The Raiders are on the verge of implosion. Basically, the NFC West hasn't been competitive in a long time. They're basically like the Patriots during the Brady Belichick years in the AFC East. It's messed up, man. So the Chiefs are 88% to win division title, and the Chiefs, frankly, they haven't been all that impressive. I mean, people are creaming in their jeans because they won by double digits on Monday night at home against Derek Carr. Cool. Then the Vikings are 52% to win the division. Mainly it's because they're still fluffing up the Lions and the Packers, but yeah. And then winning the conference, Vikings have the 3rd best odds at 18%, or 2nd best actually, tied with the Ravens. And then winning the Super Bowl. So you can't see this, but the Chiefs are 21%. There we go. And then the Vikings are in a logjam with the Ravens also at 9. What's funny is that the Packers are in 4th with 8%. It's great. Again, so these numbers are skewed a little bit because they're definitely biased towards the Lions and the Packers. Oh my! But like we said, the toughest remaining schedule for the Lions. That's es muy difícil. And for the Vikings, they would have the 5th easiest remaining schedule because you're looking ahead and you have the Lions games are going to be tough. Packers game isn't going to be a slouch either. Cardinals, I've said, I think are going to be tougher than you think. Same thing with the Falcons. But there's no easy games in the National Football League. But, I mean, the stretch of the Colts, Jaguars, Titans, Bears, 3 out of 4 on the road, no factor. Should be no factor at all. But the Vikings, right out of the gate, 2 tough games. Lions at home, and then you got the Rams short week. Rams are always tough. Like, no matter how many injuries they have, they're always going to be difficult, especially with McVay and Matthew Stafford. And if the playoffs started today, stop the count, Vikings would have the 1 seed in the NFC. Commies 2, Falcons 3, Seahawks 4. But also, it really Sort of tapers off from there. Lions, Buccaneers, and Cowboys will have the wild cards. The Packers will be on the outside looking in. That's fine. The Bears are still in this thing, or at least I think they are. Then down towards the bottom, not so much. But obviously, there's a long ways to go. But it is interesting to see how things are shaping up. And a lot of people made a whole to-do about the Vikings' initial schedule, and it was tough. Yes, it was a gauntlet, but guess what? The Vikings came out unscathed and had some very convincing wins, and we said it when the schedule came out. The schedule is tough, yes, but also they have to play the Vikings. Right, so that certainly does factor in as well. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings looking pretty good at this moment in time. 89% to make the playoffs, 9% to win the Super Bowl, have the 5th easiest remaining schedule. Although no game is easy. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. To do Skull production value.